From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod and over on TikTok. Now let's crack open a cold beer and let's get after it.
Let's do it. You made me get the beer today, so we go with the classic Rolling Rock.
It's an easy drinking beer.
Oh, it's smooth as, the green bottle alone.
Yeah.
You can't leave. The thing is with the green bottle is you got to drink them when you get them. It's not like an old Coors can that you can have in the back of your fridge for forever. The light is going to get in there. Yeah. It's going to make it taste not that much different because it's a Rolling Rock, but, different enough to where in my mind of not a scientist, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So today we are covering the John Tavares injury, some playoff coverage, previewing our next pop culture series, and some questions from the internet. Don't forget to check us out on What a Maneuver and Patreon to support the show over on YouTube. And getting ready for our June 26th show at Tailgate HQ with the McCanns.
Thanks, Paul, for showing up. I'm going to do it every time until June 26th, bro. So
how are you this week, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm not going to spoil my what's snapping my stick, but we got a great weekend planned.
Oh yeah,
couple of different things that's going on, and then a day after this comes out, I'll have 5 days of work until I'm getting footage for all these folks at home on the beach, bro. I'm just so excited. I'm vaxxed up. I'm waxed up. I'm ready to go, dude. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just pumped, man.
I'm pumped for you, dude.
I need it. Obviously, I've done a great job of hiding it here on the show, but it's been a long year for your boy. So I'm pumped. How about you, big dog? What's up with you, man?
Good, man. We're coming off of our big first live recording show with Manny Blue. That was a great time.
Awesome. And I went to the show on Saturday.
I wasn't able to make it, but I heard it was great.
It was great. Shout out to Manny. Snagged me a hat. It's not hard to get me to snag a hat from you, but no, they gave me
a hat just has to be there.
Free. Right. That's pretty much it. Well, but to be fair, I didn't get a Yeehaw hat yet because I got a Manny Blue hat instead. I am going back to get a Yeehaw. They had some dope one, but they gave me like 3 free stickers and a koozie. I should have opted for the koozie on the show, so maybe I'll rock it on Saturday.
Yeah. But my arm's a little itchy. I'm about 6 days recovered now from my tattoo. It's a big piece, and it's getting. Last night was real itchy while I'm trying to sleep, and you can't really scratch it.
Thing is, you're pretty used to big pieces, though, right?
Yeah. All right, so let's jump straight into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
That John Tavares injury was pretty wicked.
It was. Real quick, I do want to say I normally don't compliment you, and I'm not a big tattoo fan. Your tattoo is sick, bro. That new tattoo is sick, man. Yeah. I'll give it to you. I would never, bumper sticker the old Ferrari over here, but it does look really good. I did want to say that. I love that we have an in-house,
professional expert.
Licensed and certified professional personal athletic trainer.
Yeah.
So that's sick. So we're going to get a lot more quotes from her just purely because we have it.
Yeah. So the John Tavares injury has been confirmed. He does have a concussion, and I think that was at the minimum that we knew what was going to happen. No structural damage, so that's great. I don't know. I think it's at minimum 2 weeks before he can come back. But we do have a quote from our in-house professional expert, Miss Hannah Busby. She's a licensed and certified personal athletic trainer, bachelor's in athletic training, and a master's in exercise and sports science. So here's the quote from her about the injury when we discussed it. A lot of times when a hit like that happens, the athlete thinks they are more okay than they really are. That's why he was able to get to his knees. But when he gets to his knees, though, we catch a glimpse of his face and he just kind of looks absent. At that point, the athletic therapist is trying to get him on his back so that he can stabilize his cervical spine. The process of cervical stabilization and spine boarding is usually precautionary and probably a good idea for this case. At one point, you do see blood coming from John Tavares' ear. Usually with blood from the ear and or nose, we worry about cerebrospinal fluid or disruption. That just means that there's something wrong in the brain and or the spinal cord, very serious, and needs to be transported immediately, which he was. He spent the night in the hospital. Luckily, he got out with just a concussion, no structural damage.
The thing is, there were so many big words in that I could barely follow it. So that's how you know it's legit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that was a legit statement. So maybe we should just do her full resume. You know,
Yeah.
maybe she'll be working for the Preds soon.
Yeah. Well, full disclosure, this was just a part of her statement. It was about a 2-page statement.
Well,
she
we
gave
can't
me.
take the whole quote.
Yeah.
We got fans to please. I mean, that was, if you're listening to us, there was already like 8 words that were too big for our fans to understand. So, but that is a good glimpse of something that, you know, because we all just make comments like, oh, that's an ACL for sure. You know, you see how he does this. That's I mean, you're just glad that he got out with only the concussion.
Now,
because, I mean, that
what are
could have been
your
rough.
opinions on Foligno going out and starting a fight with Corey Perry after this? Because listen, I hate Corey Perry, but honestly, this hit was an accident. There was no malicious intent in this hit at all. Corey Perry clearly did not mean to do that.
Right. It wasn't like the elbow to Ryan Ellis type of deal.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who support the fact that Foligno went out and fought him.
I'm the supporter. I mean,
See,
accident or not, that's your boy. That's your star.
But the
You go out
problem
and
is,
square up.
at that point, like it becomes very like, what happens if it was like someone just trips over like a broken stick and they fall and the same like
well, that's different because they did, you know, I mean, if Foligno went out and like fought the stick, I'd be like, hell yeah, get it, boy. You know, I mean, it's not, I'm not
completely against it, but I think it's kind of, I don't know, because it was very clear that Corey Perry was distraught about it because Corey Perry immediately like went down to a knee when he saw it. I mean, he didn't even continue to play.
We've said many things on Corey Perry and our distaste for him. And I mean, he's literally a portion of our joke of the week, segment. But I don't think that he was malicious. Like a lot of things that he does seem to be. I also don't have the problem with him going and squaring up. I mean, just you gotta. Yeah. It's hockey.
I understand 2 points of it. Foligno's point was kind of, you know, it go ahead. It helps everyone move past it, so that nothing happens later on.
Right.
And so
you got to get your fans back into it. I do
like the point that it was more of just like they went out there and he said, hey, we're going to fight now. And it wasn't like he goes after him from behind on the next play.
It wasn't malicious on Foligno's part either.
It was more of a we're going to square up. This is the easiest and best way to settle this right now. Yeah. Personally, I don't think there was really anything to settle because it was a complete accident. But
I think it's for it's for you're settling it for your bench. You're settling it for your fans. I feel like because if it doesn't happen, then it's just this lingering thought. And then anything he does, then we're exactly as you said, we're glad didn't happens. Yeah. Then it happened. Oh, well, we got to get him right now.
I'm not completely against the fight. I just wanted to get your opinion about it.
Yeah, I'm for it. Yeah. Generally fights for him.
No. Nazem Kadri suspended 8 games for his hit. I believe that was against Justin Falk.
That's a lot. That's a lot of games.
Especially since considering that like Tom Wilson didn't even get suspended 8 games for his hit, which I mean, I'm not saying
he didn't get suspended any games.
Yeah, and that was and so 8 games in the playoffs. That's an insane amount.
That's
the crazy thing about the player safety, whatever. It's so inconsistent. Like, listen, everyone saw that a suspension might come, but 8 games is like 15 regular season games.
I think he's so upset about it because with the way the Wild are playing, they're going to go to the Stanley Cup, and he's not even going to be. He's still going to be suspended next season. That is absurd, and we've talked about it. It would be different if this was just like the standard. It's like you knew it was coming type of deal. But there is no telling what's going to happen with the Department of Player Safety. I mean, it's run by a former NHL goon, for goodness sake. Like, and I know he's just the figurehead that just takes the heat. And I think it's because nobody can say anything to him on the streets when they're mad about it. You know, if it was just some like little old guy that they had pulled in that's like a doctor or something, like people would square up with him. I'm absolutely appalled by that. And I'm not even a big Kadri fan. Like, I think he deserves some time off out of the game. You know, he should have got some suspension time.
I think a 2-game, 3-game suspension was right.
Agreed.
8 games is weird.
That's 2 whole series
and,
for the Avs.
I'm not one to jump straight to, it's racist, but the people who are saying that, it's weird that Kadri got such an insane amount of games when other people don't, like, there is an argument to be heard that they should look at who is passing down this punishment and figure out why is his punishment so much more severe than other people.
I don't know that I would hit it with race as much as I would market.
Yeah,
Washington D.C.'s market is more important than Colorado's market in my mind.
Yeah,
I don't know that that's the case. I don't know that it's factual.
I would say they're about equal. I'd say Washington and Colorado's hockey market is about equal.
There on almost every level of sports, there's an East Coast bias. I will sell that down, to the end of the days that there's an East Coast bias, just generally speaking, because the teams are older, the teams have been there longer. There's more folks in the East, I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it just seems like that's the case. And I mean, Ovechkin, you don't want him going against you because then boom, you got Putin going against you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was a Russian on the Colorado Avalanche that was, prevalent like Ovechkin was, they would have suspended Falk for 8 games. They would have.
All right, let's move into outside of the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
Phil Mickelson wins PGA Tour at 50 years old. He's the oldest to ever win. I was surprised by that.
I think he's 54, right?
Is he 54?
Oh, he's 50. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah. I'm surprised that 50 is the oldest to ever win it. To be honest, in golf, I could have sworn that. I mean, obviously, I couldn't have sworn because I don't really watch it, but I would have thought that somebody older than 50 had won it by now. But that's awesome, man. It really shows the crazy, like when you take it, like Phil Mickelson, Tom Brady. These guys are getting older and still, I mean, because golf's a hard game. It might look, some people might think it looks easy, but man, it's a lot.
It's an extremely hard game. It's obviously impressive that he won it at 50, but it's not like, I would say, as much as my distaste grows and grows for Tom Brady as the days go on, it's somehow just continuing to get bigger and bigger. Him winning a Super Bowl on a new team at 42 is a much more impressive feat.
I agree, 100%.
Than Mickelson, one of the greatest golfers that we've ever seen in our entire lives, winning it at 50. I mean, I
agree.
The craziest part is he won this tournament in 2003. That's like crazy. And he was like, still like what? That was 16 years ago. Yeah, I mean, he was old then, so it is very impressive. Mickelson is a likable guy, too. It's a guy that Tiger was always that guy that you either loved or you hated. Mickelson's a pretty decent guy that I think is universally liked within the PGA world. He was on all weekend. Yeah. Stephanie won some money on him. I tried to go against her with the old Brooks Koepka, and I lost my money, but she won hers. So
yeah, it's actually funny that you bring up Brady because it's very noticeable to me that the media perception of Brady is changing. I guess now that he's out of New England, he's I think it's because he's also changed his lifestyle. Kind of being in Tampa, he's more visible. He's not the guy that Belichick leaves like behind the curtain. He's
not under the umbrella of Belichick anymore. I mean, it's for those that said, oh, well, Brady is who he is because he has the greatest coach of all time. And that wasn't an argument by me. I think that Belichick has proven, and as much as I hate him as well, that he's proven that he is one of the greatest coaches of all time. He exactly what we said this time last year when he went to Tampa. Can he go and do something else? I think we're really going to find out. I think he's sold a lot of people, including me. I mean, not that I ever didn't think he was probably arguably the greatest of all time, but he sold it. I mean, you got it. You can't say now, oh, we did it because of Belichick.
Yeah, and it's wild. This time last year, people were arguing if Tampa would even make the playoffs. Now people are arguing, will Tampa have a perfect season? Will Tampa?
No.
Well, because I would say that because one of the Tampa players, I didn't catch the interview when they I said who he was, but he was talking to Pat McAfee, and he was like, how prevalent is it, because Tom Brady came out and said that he in an instant would trade 2 Super Bowl rings to get a perfect season and win the Super Bowl. And he asked when he said that, if that kind of put pressure on Tampa, if that was going, he said that they don't really talk about it, but it's well known in Tampa that
everybody wants the perfect season. That's not crazy.
Well, he said that, he's been on teams where it's like, they don't talk about they to them, they'll have up in the locker room like it's all about the trophy. Their lifestyle, their culture now is they expect a trophy, and they're shooting for that perfect season. They want that perfect season. To them, perfection is the goal. So I think that it's crazy to go 1 year from will they make the playoff to them being like, well, are we going to get the perfect season?
Yeah. Definitely. I don't think. I mean,
it's such a hard game, and especially it's gotten harder even now. You've got
in a tough division.
Yeah, I mean, you've got. I don't know if they do they play. I don't know if they play Kansas City during the regular season or not. That's I mean, if they do, that right there is the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Julio Jones wants out of the ATL. Man,
who doesn't?
Yeah. I'm not surprised. He kind of came out and pretty much said that, he wants to go somewhere that can win. So after Julio Jones kind of made his statement to Shannon Sharpe about wanting that he wants out of there, he made it clear he has told people around him that he wants to go play with Cam Newton. AJ Brown reached out on Instagram, wanted him to come to Tennessee. Odell hit him up. So the recruitment for Julio Jones has officially begun now, and it's getting crazy on social media. Anyway, so Aaron Rodgers, he did not appear at the Packers OTAs, which, yes, are optional. There are players who have missed it. But he has missed all phases this offseason so far, and he has never missed OTAs before in his career, and he will miss his offseason workout bonus check that was worked into his contract. So it's not like he has let people know around him that he is 100% not signing there. So
yeah, maybe.
I mean,
I'm still not sold.
Still
not sold till he doesn't sign. Not even sign. He's already signed. He's on the team.
Yeah,
he's got a contract. He's on the Packers or not on any team. So yeah. I'm not sold yet. I may eat my words, but I traditionally just play that off as I knew it the whole time. So
yeah, he did come out and say that it has nothing to do with them drafting Jordan Love, which is.
Well, who's worried about Jordan Love? Nobody is.
He said it seems he's more upset that they didn't tell him that what they were doing, which is kind of petty. But
yeah, he's being. Let's continue. I think we all know what I was going with that. Hey, Bob,
what's up?
Any no hitters this past week?
Yeah,
I hate asking this question now.
We had 2 of them. So since our last episode, we've had 2 no hitters. We had Spencer Turnbull for the Tigers versus the Mariners, and then Corey Kluber, Yankees versus the Rangers. What a dope name! Yeah, and Kluber's with a K.
It's actually Kluber, but yeah.
Well, to me, it's Kluber.
Well, that's fine, but it's Kluber though.
He just says it wrong.
It's Kluber.
All right, let's jump straight into our main topic of the day. We've got we're doing more playoff coverage. Quick rundown of where we currently sit as of Tuesday. We've got Tampa leads Florida 3-2, Pittsburgh down 2-3 versus the Islanders, Montreal down 2-1 versus Toronto, and they play tonight. Vegas leads 3-2 versus Minnesota. Boston beat the Caps 4-1. Carolina tied 2-2 with the Preds, and they play tonight, a late game tonight.
Wow, man. Wow. What a weekend, bro. What a weekend. I was there in the suite with my boy Keith Urban, by the way. What up? Nicole Kidman was there too, but who cares about that? Awesome games. Yeah. Awesome games.
The Jets sweep Edmonton, and Colorado sweeps the Blues. So we had 2 sweeps so far. More than we thought. I called the Blues. I think you called it too, right? The Colorado sweeping the Blues.
Yeah, I actually put money on it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about so far into the playoffs, man? It's been really entertaining. Lots of overtime. I'm thinking that my top 3 overtime might hit.
I'm thinking that it won't, but it might.
I think it's definitely not. I think it's going to be above average. So I think your below average isn't going to hit. Only because I've done the stats and I'm like seeing. I'm able to now see the trends of like how many we're getting. We've had so many 2 overtimes. We had 3 overtime last night, and the full over the 20-minute periods start, racking up.
They do. They start wearing on folks. This has been a great playoff series, except for the Oilers, but it's been great.
Honestly, for me, it was great seeing the Oilers get swept. Even though, officially in our bracket, I had the Oilers going, I was going to talk about this.
Me too. I did.
I had the Oilers going, but I got to admit that after that first game, seeing how they played, I was very, very confident. I thought maybe they might lose 4-1, but I was very confident the Oilers would not.
Yeah, I mean,
they lost last year to Chicago. This year that they lost to the Jets,
they're up like 4-1 and lost.
That is there is a curse in there so bad that the great one said, "Nope, nothing I can do."
He's like,
bye.
I'm out. Well, it's funny we're talking about him resigning as vice chair, but he's like literally got a new job. So this was the time that he was going.
What was his new job?
Isn't he TNT's new?
Oh, that's
analyst?
right. Yeah.
So he has a new job.
Yeah.
So it's not like crazy that he left or anything.
Yeah.
But it's
just funny that he's like the day after.
It's just gonna. That it would have probably been the day after if they won the Stanley Cup. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to get to his new job. Who do you think
requests a trade first, Jack Eichel or Connor McDavid? You got to think Connor McDavid's over this now. He is. To do what you did this season and get swept in the first round is insane.
It falls a lot on him, though.
No, for sure. Listen, if you put a team on your back like that and you can't even get your team to one, listen, it is a team sport. But Connor McDavid
it would be different.
Because you know what? Wayne Gretzky pulled his team to the playoffs.
It would be different if he straight up lit it up.
He did not.
But he did it. You know what I'm saying?
One goal, 3 assists.
Yeah,
and I think all of those assists were like secondary assists. I think he might have had one real good assist. The others were just secondaries.
Yeah, that's what.
And he had 2 big turnovers.
He's the one that hasn't shown up come playoff time.
He last night's game, his turnover is what led to the overtime winner. He just mishandled the puck, and the same thing in game 3, he mishandled the puck, and they got now I will say that little move he made, I think in like the second overtime, where he got the pass at his skate, booted it between the D-man's legs and then got it and then went backhand. That was pretty. If it had gone in, that would have been an all-time great looking goal. But
well, ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a great day. Yeah. But we're sitting here talking about him getting swept in the playoffs.
Yeah,
this is we thought that Buffalo had a team that could compete. Yeah. It was clear they didn't. Edmonton did have a team that could compete. And so where's he going to go? That is, unless you
first off, who can afford him? That's, that is a huge price to pay. Because here's the thing: the moment he leaves, Draisaitl's getting a trade too. He wants out. That if McDavid leaves,
he may be looking for that bigger check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what if McDavid leaves and then Draisaitl and the Oilers? Because I think minus McDavid with that cap space to be able to go and get other pieces, it's a team that can compete.
Yeah, because here's the
problem.
Because here's the thing. It's not like you need McDavid to win cups. It's been proven the last couple of years. So they could take that cap space and go get 2 or 3 pieces and get and their window is still open.
We are, the sky is falling Connor McDavid right now and everything.
Mike Smith is an issue.
Well, but the dude is 24.
Yeah.
It's like we've seen him play.
I don't think the sky is falling for Connor McDavid. I think the sky is falling on his time in Edmonton. I don't think that he sees what's happening. He sees what's happening with Jack Eichel, and he doesn't want to be stuck in
Jack Eichel, I think, is younger than he is.
Well, yeah, but like in hockey years, Jack Eichel has aged so much worse than Connor McDavid.
But Jack Eichel is also 24, but I think there's a huge difference hockey-wise. From Buffalo to Edmonton.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But at the same time, how long? Listen, I'm sure there are a lot of players that'd be cool with, having the most points, but McDavid wants a cup. He wants the cups.
Sure.
He wants the cups to his name.
Then he needs to show it, because it's not like he lost some heartbreakers. Like he's gotten
the problem is that, yes, they have a good team, but there is some dysfunction that, first off, they have to get a goaltender. Mike Smith is 40? About to turn 40 years old.
I do not think that is accurate, but I will check.
Check on that. I think he is creeping up on 40 years old.
Oh, the wrong one. It was like 48. It was Bubbles. Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. It was like 48. I was like,
how did that? Is the actor's name Mike Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like,
He was born in 82, so he's 39. So he is up there. But
I mean that, and he is not looking. I mean, so Edmonton has some issues that they need to address. They've got the makings of a team that can do well, but I don't see them. And the problem is because I don't know what their cap space, but they probably can't be great. Like they're not going to be able to bring somebody in. They've got to go to their farm system, and I don't see them being the team that McDavid wants to stick around with. Now, again,
I disagree.
At the end of the day, I think he will stay there because who's going to pay for him? He
already has such a huge contract.
That's what I'm saying. Like nobody's taking that right now. I mean, I'm sure people would love it.
His buyout is 12.5.
Yeah. People like listen.
If he wants to win, the problem is he's taking up 10% of their cap. Yeah. That's a lot.
He needs to if he rather than and obviously this is all conjecture. He has not come out and said one thing or the other. This is us, the media, just running with it. But at the same time, if he wants to win, the answer is not to leave. The answer is to take a hometown deal.
Yeah.
And they need to bring someone in.
There ain't nobody paying 12.5 a year.
Because,
I mean, they just aren't.
Because there are goaltenders out there. Hell, even if they go and get Vegas' second string, Robin Leonard, you got yourself a decent goaltender, much better than Mike Smith, and you can make a run with that.
11.3 for Draisaitl. 12.5 for McDavid. The next closest is Ryan Nugent Hopkins at $6 million a year. Yeah, they're minus 317K. So that's the problem is like, look, you're going to pay 20% to two players. Then those two players really have to give you 20% of your production. And I mean, the thing is, the reason teams like Boston win cups pretty consistently, the reason that teams like the Blackhawks and the Kings, when they were on their heyday, have won cups is because they weren't playing two players 20% of the cap that have never really done anything in the playoffs. Yeah. That's the problem. That's the biggest issue there.
What they didn't really make any big changes in the offseason after getting beat by the Blackhawks last year. So
they made a few. They bring in James Neal, or was he already there?
That was already there before.
They brought in Tyson Barrie, which was a great ad for a defensive piece. The problem is they have a lot of young guys.
Yeah,
is the thing. Is they can grow into this, and it's the sky is falling from our point of view because it makes for good discussion and us talking about it. I mean, 24 years old. He's not that old of a guy. Like a lot of these guys can work into it. Nugent Hopkins has played well. Nurse. The biggest problem is Mikko Koskinen is getting 3.8 a year, and he has never been worth that at any point. I mean, Tyson Barrie's only making 3.75 a year. Mike Smith's only making 1.5 mil. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
too much for him.
I don't know. I mean, that he came in and played well, but I mean, 1.5 mil is not that much money for a goalie that a lot of teams would love. Yeah, I mean, Yamamoto could step it up. Puljujarvi could step it up later on. I mean,
so what other series in here have you been? I mean, obviously Carolina Predators. We've been watching that a lot. It's been a great series.
Obviously, a fantastic series, which did not look like it was going to be so early on. Yeah. I mean,
let's just hope it's not all home team taking it.
There is something to be said about the crowd in Nashville and what energy it provides to the team. That's been a great series.
Yeah, they announced that they're going from 12,000 to like 14,500. I'm going to tell you one thing. I watched the games. There was not 2,000 seats free. Whoever was counting the attendance, they were missing some people.
They were doing Tennessee math.
Yeah.
So
they were definitely over that. They were well over that 12,000 that last game.
But honestly, what I was thinking was going to be a much better series, which turned out to be clearly one-sided, was the Boston Caps. That the 4-1 doesn't really show what happened in that series. Those games were so close. It could have very easily been 4-1 Capitals in that series. But the Pittsburgh Islanders series, bro, that is those games are fun to watch.
I think
Josh Bailey is nasty.
Yeah, I think
he is nasty.
Tampa, Florida, everyone is right now crowning as the best series. I think Islanders Pittsburgh is the best series to watch right now.
Tampa, Florida is the best series if you just like offense.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's lots of offense happening.
And also, like, while it is 3-2, Tampa, at no time, even during those two Florida wins, did I ever think, oh, Tampa might lose this.
No.
I've been confident in Tampa. Honestly, Pittsburgh, New York, it is a coin toss to me.
Dude, I know. I think
because at any moment, Crosby and Malkin can turn it on.
I have Islanders moving on, and I'd much prefer the Island. I mean, I've been big on the Islanders all year. I honestly think they have to win it 4-2 because sending Crosby into a game 7, it could be over. And I wouldn't be surprised. It's been a great series. You're getting play from all the stars, but you're getting great goaltending at the same time, and you're getting great hockey. That's probably, I mean, if you just like offense, Tampa, Florida, go watch that series. That series has been great when it comes to that. But Pittsburgh, the Islanders has been the best series for hockey fans, in my opinion.
Yeah. So before we move on, we got 2 games tonight. We've got Montreal, Toronto, and Carolina versus Spreads. What are your projections for those games tonight? This is Tuesday, so obviously this comes out in 2 days.
Yeah.
While you look it up, I will say that honestly, I think Carolina, Nashville is a toss-up. So, but I think Carolina comes back. I don't think they lose 3 in a row. I think Carolina takes this one. And if I had to bet on it, I would take the money line, but I would take the over 5.5 goals. I don't know what the over-under is on that game right now, but I would take over 5.5. And then
I'll take a look. I think that I'm going to go to the other game first, since you went to the Preds, Carolina first. I think just Toronto's just too much.
I think
they haven't even got big showings from their stars.
I think Toronto will win the series. I think Montreal wins this game. I think they tie it up tonight. I think in extra time.
And I'm going to go with Nashville. They've got the edge on their side. I think Hines has stopped outthinking himself.
Yeah, I think Slavin will be a game changer because he's skating
today. Is he skating today?
It looks like he'll be back today.
He is a big game changer, but I've already said it.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change my mind. But just to hammer down on it, I am going to go look at the puck line, not the puck line, the goal line, and see what we actually have here. It's at 5.5. I think I'm throwing.
I'm going
5 on the over. Just some quick one, just so I have some skin in the game, and then I'll throw 5 on the Preds as well. So just so everybody knows, I'm sticking to my guns here. I think that Toronto's going to win tonight. The payout's not great. At -180, I'm not throwing 5 on that. That's not worth it for me to potentially lose.
All right, guys, let's jump into Joke of the Week.
The weird. Corey Perry. I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish. Each 6th chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister. And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the Joke of the Week.
There is no way this is real, bro.
It's real.
This is a fake. This is The Onion. It's gotta be, dude.
It's real. Kevin Spacey to make acting return with film about accused pedophile. Disgraced Hollywood star Kevin Spacey will soon be making his return to acting since he was first embroiled in sexual assault scandal in 2017. The House of Cards actor, who is currently facing a number of allegations of sexual harassment, is all set to share a screen with Vanessa Redgrave by playing a detective, as per report by The Telegraph. His character, named Luomo Cheticiano Dio, will
Sounds a lot like Chomo.
will be investigating claims of pedophilia against a blind artist. The story of the film doesn't seem all that different from Spacey's own reality as well.
This is a true story?
He was accused of making sexual advances at actor Anthony Rapp in the 1980s when the accuser was only 14 years old. I didn't even realize he was in Star Trek Discovery, but I haven't really seen the show yet. So, other accusers have accused him of other claims, and it's wild. And when I was telling my wife about this, she said she saw a promotional poster for this on Twitter and didn't really know what it was, and they quickly took it down because it was like him straight up, but like the way the lighting was and just the way his nose sat on his face, he had a really thick shadow under his nose that was like right under his nose.
Hitler mustache.
And and just his facial structure, he looked people thought it was a Hitler movie. People thought he was playing Hitler. People were like, is his big return? Is he's coming and playing Hitler? Like, that's ballsy.
Honestly, it would have been a better return for him. Movies about Hitler can be great. It would be hard for some World War II fans to turn it down. There is no way that he was like, some director had to have approached him as a joke, right? They were like, look, let's ask Kevin Spacey to do this. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it.
So let me see if I can turn my screen around so you can see this.
He straight up looks like he's playing
now,
Hitler.
Here's the thing. When I tried finding
he looks a bit like Hitler
when she told me that, I immediately typed in Kevin Spacey Hitler, thinking it would be like obviously that's going to be the first thing that pops up. You know what's wrong when you type in someone's name plus Hitler and multiple things line up and not the one you were looking for?
I mean, his hair and everything, dude, he does legit look a bit like Hitler. Allegedly, everybody. Allegedly.
No, not allegedly. He looks like Hitler. Now, I will say that if you just type in Kevin Spacey Hitler, apparently his dad was a Nazi? Like a straight up World War II.
Everything just continues to make more and more sense as the
Kevin
story
Spacey's
unfolds.
father was a Nazi child rapist, his brother says in an interview. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This may be a little heavy for Joke of the Week, bro. We usually just make fun of like James Dolan for like getting mad and fighting a fan or something, but like this is not okay, everybody. This is not like what a joke. This is like I don't even know what to call it. What a travesty. This is you have turned this into what a travesty.
And the reason
Bobby.
I thought this was kind of funny was that, I don't know if you saw this most recent week's season finale of SNL. They did a skit where it's like a rerun of like a 1990s like celebrity, like it's like that thing where a bunch of celebrities are in a box and they play like tic-tac-toe or something.
Right.
And the contestants are Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby, Jared from Subway, and they keep saying like, dude, we have to edit this part out. And
because
and so
that's really funny.
And like one of them was like the special guest star was like playing Baby Spice, and she kept saying like, and of course Baby Spice has no drama, but in the skit she's like, I do want to say that Bill Cosby, one of the greatest people I know. and it's like, and it says Baby Spice has asked us to edit out her quotes on, and she's like, and I do want to say about Jared, I mean, just the most caring person in the world. It is honestly the season finale of SNL this week was very funny.
All of those two, and it was the last time that Michael Che and Kevin Jost did where they write jokes for each other.
Yeah,
and Colin Jost always played it pretty safe. He had a couple of funny ones that he made. Michael Che.
So you saw the.
I saw that.
Yeah. So when you say like I saw that Michael Che might retire or might leave it. Has it been confirmed?
I think he's leaving. Yeah, I think it was the last time they were doing it.
Yeah, I know. I think Keenan might leave too, but he's been on there for 18 years.
My boy Keenan, dude. I do. Oh,
it's
man,
wild. It's crazy to think that he's been on there for 18 years.
It is crazy. What a funny guy, and he looks like he looks like Keenan that is a little bit bigger than when he was on Good Burger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Also, great movie. Fantastic movie.
All right.
I do not know this actress that is in the show.
I didn't even look it up.
She's won an Oscar.
Something tells me that not a lot of people might have turned down
she won. It's Vanessa Redgrave. She won an Oscar.
The name seems familiar.
She's like born in 1937, so like there was like 7 actors back in the day. So I'm
sorry, she was born in 1937.
Yes, you don't believe me?
No, I believe you, but like that seems old to be like her IMDb picture's black and white.
Right.
She's 84.
Yeah, I guess that's the only actress they could get to play. She hasn't heard about what Spacey did and is in no danger of succumbing to him.
I'm so confused, dude.
I am just I'm blown away. I'm more
like
disgusted.
This is like OJ's If I Did It, but this is like If I Fiddled Him.
Yeah, right. If I were to have fiddled a young boy, this is how I would have done it. I would have never done it like that.
Imagine being Kevin Spacey's publicist and gets the call from him, and he's like, oh, okay, you got an offer, you got a movie offer.
He's like, hell,
he's like, I'm sorry, it's
finally.
about what? no, we're not doing this.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say that you should decline it.
Oh, you've already accepted it? You've already gone.
You've already done a Hitler poster on it. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to spin this, but mostly
I'm just gonna take it down. Internet's not gonna know about it, right? It's only been up for 3 hours.
I think the best case scenario is you are on a small time podcast section about what a joke you are. I think that's literally the best case scenario in this instance.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, you've made it, bro.
I will say that when all like the Kevin Spacey stuff started coming out, the craziest thing was that like people around him were saying like he like truly was trying to be like his House of Cards character. And he didn't realize that it was like cringe. He didn't realize that he was the bad guy. He legitimately, Kevin Spacey thought that his character in House of Cards was like the protagonist and the good guy, and not someone that is a bad guy.
Right. Not the guy that
like the woman that plays his wife understood the role that she's a bad person.
Bad guy.
And he was all aboard he gets the job done.
It's like, all good. I'm gonna murder Kate Mara and frame this guy and make him his entire town hate him. Apparently, with the DUI.
He would like with friends and with like, even strangers, he would go on like these serious monologues, like and acted like he would talk to an imaginary camera, like he's Zach Morris.
What an absolute fall from grace. I'm blown away by this. It's one of the few. I usually don't let like personal things get in the way of like, it was a good. This was one of the few like that I was just like, dude. I mean, it's just not okay.
Yeah,
bro. Like you're just not okay. I mean, Bill Cosby is also. I mean, I was never a huge Bill Cosby fan.
Yeah, I think we were too young to really be like
really
Bill
like
Cosby
understand
fans.
Bill Cosby, but like, I mean, just Kevin Spacey, like Bill Cosby shut his mouth after the fact. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like treat it like Kevin Spacey did, where he was a victim. I mean, which is, I'm not saying that what Bill Cosby did is good. I'd be very clear. He was also horrible, but he just shut up. He just didn't say anything. There's something to be said about a guy like Kevin Spacey who went full blown. I've got to fix it. I'm not wrong. It's like an OJ.
How many assassins do you think Kevin Spacey tried to hire to? I mean,
I would say
too many.
Well, way too many, allegedly. Yeah, what an absolute joke. But honestly, this week it's not joke of the week; it's travesty of the week.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna turn back around now, and we're gonna
boom.
We'll move into. We're gonna preview our pop culture segment. We've got the Summer of Bond coming up.
The Summer of Bond.
We will be doing the James Bond 007 movies. With this many, we may need to do 2 a week because this is about half a year's worth of movies. If we did 1 a week,
we're gonna have to do 2 a week, and some of them we may not be able to find. Maybe HBO has them all.
Well, I'm sure we can find them.
We can find them.
I've got Amazon.
Okay.
Well,
so I believe it or not. Brandon Bond, you guys know me. You've been listening. I have never been a huge James Bond fan. I'm not anti-James Bond. I've just never been that style of movie fan. GoldenEye on N64, greatest game of all time. Maybe not greatest, but one of the greatest games of all time. But I've never really watched. You've seen a few. I think I've seen portions of some. I've never not seen any, but I've just never sat down to watch a James Bond movie. But I'm going to run through all of these movies real quick that we're going to preview for you guys. And when it gets boring, we're probably going to have to bust into 3 a week because there's a lot. Dr. No, 1962. From Russia with Love, 1963. Goldfinger, 1964. Thunderball, 1965. You Only Live Twice, 1967. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969.
I think that one's a good one.
Diamonds Are Forever, 1971. Live and Let Die, 1973. The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. Moonraker, 1979. For Your Eyes Only, 1981. Octopussy, 1983. A View to Kill, 1985. The Living Daylights, 1987. License to Kill, 1989. GoldenEye, 1995. Tomorrow Never Dies, 1997. The World Is Not Enough, 1999. Die Another Day, 2002. Casino Royale, 2006. Quantum of Solace, 2008. Skyfall, 2012. Spectre, 2015, and No Time to Die 2021. That's a lot of movies, Bob.
No Time to Die has not come out yet.
So you have a good question, but I do want to ask my question. I mean, maybe this is, maybe I'm misunderstanding yours, but in your mind, when you think of 007, everybody has the one actor that they think of when they think of James Bond movies.
Yeah.
Who is yours? Who
Pierce
do you think
Brosnan.
of? Mine too,
Yeah,
bro.
100%.
I get a lot of flack for that, but that was the James Bond when we were growing up. And honestly, he looks the most James Bond to me.
Like people who say Sean Connery is like, it's weird because he never really fit. It always felt like he didn't want to be James Bond.
It was like
it always felt like he went into the audition thinking it was something else, and
like
he
if you explained like the character of James Bond to me, it just always, even knowing that Sean Connery was great, you know.
He never struck me as a spy. He always struck me more as a soldier.
What I'm saying.
Who just like went out and kicked somebody's ass. But Pierce Brosnan struck me as a spy.
We don't often agree, but I'm so glad we agree on this. Like Pierce Brosnan had that feel of James Bond.
Now Daniel Craig, I think, is a great James Bond. People hate on Daniel Craig. I think he is a very good James Bond.
I think he's a mix between Sean Connery and Pierce Brosnan.
But I think he plays a good young Bond who's like hasn't really, is still learning the ropes.
I think it's the hair. It's the Clooney hair on Brosnan that just makes me feel, and maybe he looks more suave. That's it. That's what I feel when James Bond.
Like Sean Connery, it's more like, hey, I'm super manly.
All right,
you see this hairy chest?
There's like 7 actors, and I would, I'm older than Kevin Spacey, so I will never get touched.
And it's hard because I've seen his like interviews like during that time where it's like, oh, dude, like, and people like, I don't know if you've ever seen his interviews. Like, he tried to play it off as like, well, at the time it was normal. No, bro, he would say things like, well, a woman just needs a good slap around to learn their place. And it's like, bro, it's the 60s. It's still not okay to say that.
Hey, what do you say? I mean, I can just imagine Sean Connery saying this joke. He's like, what do you tell a woman with 2 black eyes? She says nothing. You've done told her twice.
Yeah, like so I remember seeing one of those interviews. I was just being like, ugh,
it's just cringe.
And people, and like, of course, people online was like, well, it was the 60s. Some guy was like, well, I think it was like the 40s. Like, no, bro, it definitely wasn't the 40s. Even still, wasn't acceptable in the 40s.
Right,
like,
just to slap people around, like like women around. Like it's like. Okay, but your question was, what do you think our favorite 007 would be? Did you mean actor or did you mean movie?
I meant, well, okay, sorry. Yeah. Who do we think our favorite 007 will be? Because that might be different than
Brosnan.
But it could be like,
No.
I think after we watch them, because I've only seen like 6, we could watch these and be like, you know what? I think Pierce Brosnan to me is the most 007, but the best, who, after watching this many films, we're not saying,
I feel like the problem is that they're all time based. And so like, even though they may be good movies from the 60s, it seems like it's just still going to be action movies are so time-based.
There are a couple of the old ones. I think From Russia with Love is a really good one.
I've heard like a couple of these that I've heard are really, really
On Her
good.
Majesty's Secret Service. It's either the really good one or it's the really bad one. I can't remember. It's one of the two.
I think
Live and Let Die is supposed to be really good, too.
I think that I am really going to enjoy GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I am, that storyline was great. Now, I guess before we go into this, the summer of Bond is finally here. Mostly, I'm super hyped about this, mostly because it's, that's my name.
Yeah.
Shaken or stirred?
So first off, if you shake your martinis, you are doing it wrong because you're just getting a bunch of broken up ice and you're watering down your martini. You
love it.
Yeah.
I'm a shaking guy because I just love the little flakes. I don't hold my martinis long enough for me to be worried about them being watered down, Bobby. That's what I come from.
With shaking it, you're immediately watering down. It has nothing to do with time. The you're breaking up the ice immediately and it's being watered down right away.
It's like 88% gin, bro. It probably needs to be watered down. And so that was my next question. Gin or vodka on your martinis? Gin, me too. That's an Ian Fleming James Bond thing. I think the James Bond of the movies was the vodka, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a vodka.
I'm not 100% honest. I'm answering it like I know. I don't know.
I'll drink a vodka martini.
We should.
If it's put in front of me.
We should do is make a James Bond drinking game.
Okay, I'm interested.
I'll find one, and we'll see it. Maybe every time Sean Connery says something a little bit sexist, we take a drink.
Right. Well, and we should just probably. All right. Here's a good idea. one movie from each actor we should plan on watching together and making up maybe the last movie from each actor. Plan on making a drinking game based off of what we've learned
instead of
from the previous.
how about the perceived best one of each actor? Like we go to the internet and say which one does
Rotten
everyone think?
Tomatoes,
Rotten Tomatoes,
we'll
which, or
rank 'em.
Reddit, which one's the best? And that way we're not having to sit through a boring one and be like, well, that was a waste of time.
But I think if we watch all of them from the actor and then do the last one, then we can come up with all the things that we know he's going to do, the actor's going to do. So, but or maybe we don't have to do these in order. We don't have to do them in order, right? Like
I would say, I think we should try and do it in order.
Okay,
yeah.
well, but then it needs to be the last one, so we can come up with the drinking rules for each.
Something tells me that there's drinking games out there for James Bond. I will do some research on it and get a final say. Let's move into questions from the internet. We've got a couple for you today. So let's start out with this one's, back to hockey. Should there be a more clear-cut criteria for the Hart Trophy or maybe a new trophy?
Yeah, I think I looked up some stuff, and basically the Hart Trophy is voted on by the NHL. It's voted on by the Writers Association. The Ted Lindsay is the most outstanding player that's voted on by the NHLPA. Those two don't always coincide. I mean, I do think that there should be some more clear-cut criteria. It's not necessarily as it doesn't incorporate. I mean, it's hard to incorporate the eye test on a lot of folks because some guys watch other guys. The East Coast bias generally tends to win out, or who the most popular guy is. I think there probably should be some more clear-cut criteria.
I think there should be a new trophy.
We are never getting any clear-cut.
No.
I mean,
that's why I think a new trophy might help. I think if we get like the Wayne Gretzky trophy or something like that.
I don't necessarily agree that there should be a new trophy because we have, for the Wayne Gretzky trophy, we have all those. The point scoring, the goal scoring, like we have those trophies that they get awarded. The Rocket Richard for goal, scoring goal. I don't know. I mean, I do think that there should be something more clear cut so we know where the voting comes. But I mean, it's just so random. It's not anything dead set. But I mean, that's pretty much every MVP trophy in every aspect of sports. We're never going to get something different because everybody has different opinions of what makes you the MVP.
Yeah. All right. What would be the worst name you could give your child?
Well, I'm already planning on naming my first child Gold. So
I think Chaz.
There is
Chads, stuff like that. It's pretty bad. I mean, you're setting them up for like one job, and that's being like a manager at a restaurant, I feel like.
Possibly. I want to say this is very specific. If your last name is Doe and you in any realm name them like Jonathan or Johnny, like these people legit get like deleted off of stuff, like are legally declared dead type of stuff because people think it's a joke sometimes.
Yeah.
You're a jerk. You're an absolute jerk. If there is a previous like famous person and you put their name as something, like, like if your last name's Jordan and you name your kid Michael, you're a jackass. That's just like you're setting them up for so much failure and heart. They call to make a dinner reservation. They give their name. And then, they may get there and there's no dinner reservation because people canceled it because they thought it was a joke. So I think really like there's lots of bad names that you can give, like trying to go too wild with it. Like, naming your kid Porsche or Elon, like that's one, like that's just crazy. Yeah. Like
I do think it's wild that there are some people out there who like name their kids knowing that they're going to be like an influencer, like, Lady Gaga or Doja Cat. Like it's wild. They knew they set the like,
Ice Cube.
They just knew it. They knew that they were going to be performers.
Ice Cube, like
what are the chances?
Like naming your kid Ice
Snoop Dogg? What?
What was his? I mean, obviously he's done really well for himself, but like you got to imagine the first few, times through school, they're like Snoop Dogg, D-O-G-G, like what? Like, come on, buddy, get out.
He's like, no,
here.
D-O-double-G.
Yeah, he's like, that's amazing. You're awesome. I hope you go big time. Yeah, no, I mean, a Notorious B.I.G. That's just you're setting your kid up for failure.
Yeah.
What if he wasn't B.I.G.? What if he happened
What
to
if
be
he wasn't notorious?
Notorious S-M-A-L-L-L? I don't know why I threw an extra L in there, but whatever. Tupac. That's his actual name,
Yeah.
right? It's like
That's a
Tupac
solid
Shakur.
name, yeah.
That's solid. I will give him that.
Yeah.
That was a solid name. I would say anything like that. Like, names are names. You can get away with a lot of things, but like when you have that name that's going to be able to so easily, like Johnny Cash said it best, naming your son Sue. That was a terrible, mean thing for the dad, the father in that song to do. You know that song,
I do
right?
not.
It's called A Boy Named Sue, and it's basically about this guy's dad's leaving. He names his son Sue, and he basically has to fight his whole life, and he eventually meets him, and the dad's like, well, I knew I wasn't going to be there. You knew I was going to be a deadbeat dad, so that's why I named you Sue, because now you're tough. It's like, just seems like unnecessary.
Yeah. Could have just not left.
Yeah, you should listen to A Boy Named Sue, though. It's a great song. Johnny Cash is my man's.
All right. If you could snap your fingers and make any one species go extinct, which species would you choose?
You
Yeah.
highlighted that I can't say what I really want to say. So, mosquitoes, right? I mean, it has to be mosquitoes. They are literally the deadliest animal on the planet. So, mosquitoes, you're out for sure. But I would also have to say, and are we saying that there's no ecological impact with making
that makes
these decisions?
it much easier because I was thinking of those. I was like, well, I can't take that one out because
let's say there's no ecological.
Even taking mosquitoes
impact.
out, so many things feed off mosquitoes that it would.
Ish. I mean, but let's say there's no ecological impact, so we don't, get PETA on our case or something. What are you going for right now?
I think hippos. They really fuck up.
They
people.
are dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, mosquitoes are technically the most dangerous animals on earth, but it's just because of the diseases and stuff.
I'm not scared of a lot of animals, but even though we live in Tennessee and being afraid of hippos is not a realistic thing that we should ever have to worry about.
It's like being afraid of quicksand.
I'm always bro, how would you get away? Getting away
you
from
would
it,
not.
Yeah, you don't.
They're
you're
the most
you're
aggressive.
Dead.
They're the most aggressive.
I feel like my
animal
chances,
on Earth.
if I run into a gator or something, I've seen enough Steve Irwin. I could do it.
Zigzag.
But
cover their eyes.
Yeah. A hippo, you might as well.
No,
I mean,
you're
a bear,
done.
I read a whole thing about how you can survive a bear attack. No, there's never been an article about how to survive a hippo attack.
That's because there's not one. There is not one. Everybody that tried to write that article died. They were dead by the hippo. I'm thinking I'm going to go. Again, no ecological impact.
If we're doing
I think I'm going to go skunk.
Okay.
Skunks are terrible.
Yeah.
They really provide no benefit.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Skunks are bad. I mean, snakes. Yeah, I'm going snakes for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely, you have to reconfigure the entire earth.
Yeah,
for snakes being gone,
listen,
not to make it.
If we are not nearly smart enough to pick an animal that would have no ecological impact.
Well, there is no animal that would not have any ecological impact. We would just have to assume that everything that snakes hate would just die when they were supposed to. So I would definitely go with snakes. I'm they don't have any arms, bro. They're shifty, dude. I don't like them. I'm also spiders, though. Not a fan of spiders.
That would definitely fuck up the ecosystem.
Right. Spiders are necessary for sure.
Let's see. Are there any useless species on our planet?
I think humans probably are one of the few that were we provide no benefit and only hurt the ecological system around us. Every animal, when humans are removed from the equation, every other species thrives.
Yeah.
Because we even create our own ecological problems, like deer overpopulation, because we kill wolves and stuff. Then deer are yeah, bro, I can totally be cool to chill over here.
So there are two so far that they say giant pandas, because they are not a predator of anything really. Let's see. It might come as a shock to anyone who loves pandas, but these lumbering black and white creatures are not the most practical for the ecosystem. Nothing and nobody eats them. They barely interact with other species.
Only because they don't let us, though.
Yeah, and they have a hard time reproducing. On a more positive note, they help spread the seeds of the bamboo. They spend many hours a day.
That's not a positive at all.
Yeah,
I have bamboo in my backyard, and it is everywhere, and I have not seen a panda back there once.
Their biggest impact is tourism money. So right there, like that's not even
that goes back to the humans causing the problems here.
Another beloved bundle of fluff that falls into the same category has to be the koala.
I was about to say koalas.
Australia's
for sure.
iconic marsupial spends more than 80% of their lives asleep and the rest of their time eating eucalyptus. Like giant pandas, they don't feed on any other creatures and none seem to have acquired a taste for them. They don't even spread eucalyptus seeds, but they are pretty cute.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, those make sense as not
this, you might actually get to say one of a style of what you really wanted to say.
Mosquitoes.
Let's see. As a species, they universally this fly. The wasp.
Oh yeah, wasps are just horrendous. I'll definitely take wasps as a good option.
Okay, so I don't know why it's on this list, but it ends with that said, they can actually be useful. Apart from being spider food, some of them are so it's more that they are food for spiders.
They're just like pumping up the 8-legged arachnids. So that's all they're for. They're providing. But my thing is, if wasps are gone, spiders just eat other things. You know what I'm saying?
It does say ticks. Ticks would be a good one to get rid of.
Ticks would be a really good one.
Fleas.
Fleas? Yeah, get out of here, buddy. Yeah.
And number one, humans.
Number one, definitely. I told you, humans are the least useful to the whole entire world.
Yeah.
We may provide some benefits someplace here and there, but we vastly outweigh our benefit by our. But yeah, I would just say, just like in general, like I wonder what our world would be if we just had no insects. That'd be hype to me, dude. I'd be pumped about it. Yeah. Insects suck. And like birds like 8 a.m. They're so loud.
Well, I feel like if we were living in a world with no insects, then the birds are dead.
Boom. So we could, it's a 2-for-1 is what you're saying. We could just get rid of every bird minus like all the big scavengers that like eat things.
Yeah.
We just got rid of insects.
Would that also mean no turkeys? So no Thanksgiving. No Thanksgiving football.
Yeah, they do eat. I guess they eat like worms and stuff.
See,
I'm okay with it. Turkeys suck.
Yeah, it's not great. As long as we got the ham.
Yeah, turkey hunting fun. Turkey just in general, like for Thanksgiving, like that was not a big sell to me.
It'd be hard to use no insects, hard to fish with like live. You can't use live bait.
Right, but you just
use
you just use everything else that's in the world.
Let me just put this pig on this hook.
Yeah. Or no, I'm just saying like
you just fish.
You just go to Walmart and just buy a lure. Like they literally have fake stuff to use for that. We don't need them. I'm in.
All right.
Insects are out.
Let's move on to what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
Bro, I'm like blown away by your pick. I didn't even know that this was something that could make you upset.
Well, the reason it made me upset is that I am in the middle of getting our playlist ready for the crawfish boil. And I'm like, all right. Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm like, sure.
There's a couple solids that you need.
And so like I can use a cover song and I'm like, it's crazy. Cause like, listen, a couple years ago, I understand it. Like 5-6 years ago, I understand. Then the Beatles, the Beatles said, okay, we can be on Spotify. Then the Rolling Stones said they can be on Spotify. And I'm like, listen, I get like,
like the Beetle, right?
Well, but either way, so, and I remember thinking then like, all right. And then I thought for sure by now, like, so on one of my playlists, I've got like some cover songs of Garth Brooks.
No one will know.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if I've said it, but Garth Brooks not being on Spotify and he's only available on Amazon Music. So it's just wild that like, listen, Garth Brooks to me is, when people who are not country fans think of country music, Garth Brooks is like the epitome of country music, in my opinion.
It's like the original version of the new version, which is Toby Keith. You know, you got to have a couple of Toby Keith songs on there, you know, like.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Beer for my horses, bro. Are you kidding?
I used to be a big Toby Keith guy, but
I'm not like a huge Toby Keith guy, but there's a couple songs that you're like, this is America, right? And now that's childish. Yeah, well, not even that one. I'm just saying, like, you know, like, I mean, beer for my horses, bro. You put on some beer for my horses.
So I'm like putting this playlist together, and Garth Brooks is on there, and it's like, oh, you can go to Amazon Music's like, no, I don't want to make a new playlist on Amazon Music for this party. Like, that's
Switch
insane.
it up,
I'm just gonna use the cover songs that I mean, because I love Calling Baton Rouge. I put Calling Baton Rouge on all my playlists, and it's always has to be a cover song. And it's like, bro, listen. You are great. You're not better than the other people who've given in to Spotify. Like, there's no, like, just go.
I would imagine that there's groups of people that would, like, highly disagree with you. If I have any understanding of the country music scene, Garth Brooks is like the Wayne Gretzky of the country music scene, from what I understand. I think we had a friend that was, like, invited us to go to, like, they're like, we're going to see Garth Brooks. Like, it was like supposed to be hype to me. I was like, neat. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they did not enjoy that response.
It was funny. So at one of the last hockey games I went to with our buddy Danny, you know, they went to go see Garth Brooks, and I was like,
that guy. A friggin' punk, dude.
And I was like, dude, listen, I would totally be down to see Garth Brooks. I ain't spending $1,500 on nosebleed tickets to see Garth Brooks.
I would almost be like remiss if like somebody paid me $1,500 to go see Garth Brooks, bro.
Like, listen, I like his music. I'm not spending that money. Like, my mom saw him when she was like in college or something. And like, yeah, he's great, but dude, like, yeah, he might do 9 shows, but his tickets are so damn expensive. Like, bro, just be on Spotify.
I don't think that I would ever find a musical artist that I would pay $1,500 to see. I mean, I'm topping out like $200, $250.
I mean, I'll go above that maybe. Like for some people, like I thought about doing that for like Elton John.
See that like, maybe Elton. You know, like one of those classics that you may never get to see again type of deal that kills a live show.
Even then, I don't feel good about spending like more than $300-400 on something like that.
It just is, you know, like I feel like I would just rather like spend like $250 to go to Bonnaroo and see like hundreds of musical artists with a couple of big names there. Like when I paid for my tickets to Bonnaroo and got to see Paul McCartney, like well worth it. Like I would have paid that money that I paid for the whole Bonnaroo experience just to see Paul McCartney again.
All right, round us out, bud. What's your snaps, your stick?
Dude, the fact that it's not Saturday yet for your crawfish bowl, bro, I am just jazzed up, dude. That is the ordering for crawfish yesterday. Oh boy, like man, I mean that's something that we do yearly, and I mean there ain't nothing like a good crawfish bowl. Oh, bro, I am jazzed up, ready to go. I'm mad that it's not Saturday yet, and then when we hit that, then we're doing the Renaissance Festival on Monday, Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. You know, obviously Memorial Day, don't think a veteran. This is for the veterans that have passed on. So remember that, you know, everything they've done for us. Beach after that, I got 4 days, and then I'm beach life in it, bro. So,
all right, everyone, we will see you next week. Have a great week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.